Yeah, it just takes a second and then your whole life gets turned upside down. You know how it is. Like
Man, that's
last
an
minute,
understatement right now.
yeah, last minute juggling things, and you so accommodated me too. I appreciate that.
It's my pleasure.
Technology is fun. Technology. It's so good. Well, I'm thrilled to introduce you to my community, Michael. So we are live here on my Facebook
All
group,
right.
my YouTube group, and we're going to talk about sleep. And I was saying "Sounds of a Good Night's Sleep" as the title, and to tell our audience, hey everyone, I'm Dr. Anna Quebeca, the girlfriend doctor. I love being with all of you here, and excited to share some great information and some great wisdom coming from Michael Tyrrell, who is a traveler and just loves to explore, a true adventurer and incredibly intuitive. So Michael, I'm going to share you with our community here today, and I'd love for you to start with telling your story, so and how you've come to what you're doing today.
Absolutely. Well, ever since I was a child, I was one of those guys that was blessed enough to know what he wanted to do. And what I wanted to do was to play music, and I knew it right away. I mean, I think by the time I was 18, yeah, about 18 or 19 months old, my mom said I was already pointing to instruments and new names. So before I was 2 years old, so which is, it was pretty evident that I was going to be a musician. But the interesting thing, Dr. Quebeca, is that I knew there was something wrong with music as a child. I didn't know what it was. And I knew that, that's kind of a random statement even now to say that to people, because music is so beautiful. It's like the soundtrack of every human life, right? I mean, our limbic system, all of our body are attuned to certain things that we heard when we were in high school. It can bring us right back to that time. So music in its own right is
Yes.
beautiful. But what I found out after, and this is a long story, so I'm going to really truncate today because there's other things I want to share. But the bottom line was I knew that there was something wrong with music, but it wasn't until much, much later into my musical career that I realized that what was wrong with music is how it's tuned. Isn't that something? It's something is that nobody thought about it. And that's the blessing for any of my new friends and your old friends that are listening, is that, sometimes you'll come with a random statement, and it will start a question that is a narrative, and you'll ask people and they won't have an answer, and a lot of people get discouraged. But I'm telling you that when you have a question no one can answer, you're on the brink of a great discovery, and you never give up, and you just keep pushing, and the door opens. And so I wanted to know why the tuners that tune music were tuned to 440 hertz precisely. And for your listeners, that simply means how many times a note or a sound vibrates per second. So in the music world, there's always been music tuners that are tuned to A, the note A equals 440 vibrations. I wanted to know why. That's a crazy question, but nobody asked it, and I kept asking it. I go to one music store, hey, can you tell me why you calibrate your tuners to 440 hertz? And their answer was, I don't know, dude. And I heard, I don't know, dude, like 1,982 times. And I just thought, you know what? Every no is one step closer to a yes. I'm going to get my answer. And when I found out that the actual frequency, 440, had come from Nazi Germany, this is pretty heavy stuff, from a man named Joseph Goebbels, who was the right-hand man to Adolf Hitler, who decided to try to mechanize and militarize frequencies for weapons, which are being done today, by the way. Whatever's good or negative, all has a frequency. And so it's like when you tell someone, I love you, and it's from your heart, man, it just endorphins, your hair raises up. It's like, oh, that person loves me. And then if someone says, I hate you, and they really hate you, then you feel just the opposite. That's sickening in your stomach, and you know that very well, how things affect our hormones. So long story short, I had to figure out why during wartime somebody would be so interested in this number 440. So when I pushed the button a little bit, found out that the German radio beat, or when they would broadcast on AM radio, okay, it was 440 hertz AM on the dial. And they would use their propaganda and just continuously marinate the people and lie to the people about the Third Reich and about what was happening in the supposed freedom. And during wartime, this man decided he was going to go to 14 different nations, and he was going to convince them to tune to this same 440 hertz. And every country basically didn't give him the time of day. I mean, you had some of the greatest musicians in the world, some of the great, like Venice, And they all said, you're crazy. We're going to tune to, because believe it or not, and this will be a revelation to listeners today, not every country tunes their music to the same thing that we do. And if you travel internationally and you play with any other musicians, you're going to find that out abruptly. So they weren't willing to change their tuning, but 2 countries did, the United States of America and Canada. And that's where we get our music tuned to 440 hertz. And that's why tuners that have been bought and sold is supposedly under the standard tuning. There's never been a standard tuning. There's no standard tuning in the whole world. And for my ears, I knew that I needed to find a frequency that did the opposite of what 440 does. And for the listeners, and this is so important, especially like if you're going through like menopause or other change of life, the goddess season of life, it's hard enough to sleep. It's hard enough to function. I mean, you've got all this junk going on. So you need something that helps your circadian rhythm. You need something that helps you on a cellular level. You need something that brings you some peace so you can sleep. So the point is, I had to find out how to do the opposite of 440, because what 440 hertz does, as beautiful as the music sounds, it's kind of like it's killing me softly with the song. What it actually does is it interrupts the circadian rhythm, which is our bio clock. It's how we detoxify during the night on the hour, each organ. And it also has a very negative hit on the emotions, even though it sounds good. So I had to find frequencies and actually build music around frequencies that did just the opposite, that help support the circadian rhythm, that help support sound sleep, that had to help people that were struggling with, peace. And look at the world we're in right now. My God, if somebody would have said, hey, Michael, in 2020, the wheels are going to fall off the whole world, okay? I never would have believed them. But people are, right now, like the suicide rate in America is outstanding. You can't believe it. Right now, the latest statistics are 72 million Americans right now are struggling with some type of sleeping disorder. And it got to the point where I said, man, I need to find a way to do something about this. So through my whole story, which is like 2 hours long, I ended up on a clandestine trip where I ended up discovering that if I changed the tuning of music by 4 cents, and for our listeners, that means 444 hertz instead of 440 hertz, that it would alleviate all of the garbage that 440 hertz tuning was doing to people. And so when I made that shift, I wasn't ready for what happened. I wasn't ready for hundreds of thousands of testimonials or to be in 172 nations as we speak today. And for people, literally, I just got published on PubMed. I'm going to be in Scientific American now. And for one reason, the government will not print your stuff unless it works. But since I had the gold standard sleep test done on Wholetones to Sleep, it passed with flying colors and surpassed any other sleep aid on the market right now. This wonderful little guy right here. And so this basically completely one-on-one bedside speaker that has everything. Basically, you just hit one button and it's off to La La Land, has now been signed on by the government, which was a big deal for me, because before, everybody could say, well, that sounds kind of frou-frou, Michael. That sounds a little new age. That sounds a little weird. But if you get to the place, doctor, where, and you know this, but I'm just telling your friend, that everything is a frequency. Everything has a resonant frequency. Our communication, as we just found out, our ability to communicate digitally today, I had to make some adjustments to some frequencies so we could be having our talk. But everything about us, how we transmit information, how we connect by 900 megahertz phone, how we talk, how we, especially now with so many people being stuck at home and we're learning how to do this from home, the digital domain thrives on frequency. If it would be impossible for us to talk to each other, it would be impossible for you to communicate to all of your friends, it would be impossible for you to hear or any other thing without frequency. And so by making adjustment in the frequency, taking music into the recording studio, and it's basically, the frequency would be what we would call our medicine. That's our frequency medicine. That's our therapy. And the music around it is like a spoonful of sugar. So when you combine them, the music is the spoonful of sugar that helps the frequencies go down.
I love that. I love that. And I came across you because definitely sleep has been one of my personal issues that I've struggled with for so long. I would say I was a born obstetrician because I could wake up at any hour of the night, right? No problem. No problem. And terrible sleeper, a few hours a night, and for a while there, post traumatically, 3 hours a night. And so, non-medicinal sleep aids, I mean, that is so. I mean, that's hard to come by. We wear the eye mask. We use essential oils. Can use earplugs. Can use ice and our evening rituals, etc. Everyone in my community, I see Mary here, she's one of my magic menopause experts and just warriors, just amazing. But learning these little tweaks that we can do non-medicinally as much as possible and using things naturally is really very, very important. And like to get babies to sleep, right? We'll talk about to get us to sleep in menopause. This is huge. And show you held it up. It's like an Alexa copied you because you had it first.
I did.
Pretty sure.
And yeah, the beauty of this too is that it's 100% self-contained. It's chargeable. You leave it on until you're ready to get up, and all you do is push the on button. You have adjustments. There's no lights on the top, soft touch bottom buttons on the bottom that the lights go out in like 5 seconds. It's just so you know where you are and where your volume level is. I always recommend, Dr. Cabeca, playing this very low because it's not about volume. Frequency is about sustainability, not volume. So I turn mine almost all the way down.
Energy. I've got to switch computers really quick. I'm giving you the complete stage. I got to switch computers really quick, but hopefully we won't shut down. Here we go. Okay. All you, Michael.
You want me to keep
there
talking?
We go. Absolutely. Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. Keep sharing the story.
Great.
And energy, right? Energy, sound energy, and how we are energetic. Hormones are energetic. We need to get back in tune with our hormones. And Tyrrell says, "Hi, Dr. Anna. I play my gongs, and that helps."
It does.
I love that.
So super important for us is the word harmony. Obviously, is not only a musical term, but it's the same thing with our body. It's homeostasis, and I have such a heart for women. My wife went through the most brutal 4 years of menopause. It was tough on both of us, but guys don't understand that it's like 10,000 times worse for the woman. And I had to learn how to help her, because a lot of times people just want to fix everything, but I had to learn how to help her. And I had to also learn what the love language was that could help her. There's certain questions, obviously, a guy should never ask a woman when she's going through menopause. But I'll tell you a quick funny story, though. I have a frequency, and it's also on Wholetones to Sleep. It's 528 hertz, and it's in Latin, it's Magistrorum, which means the miracle frequency. So when I started working with it, I found out real quick that its physiological component was the female organs. And so what was really crazy about that was when I put out the music, when I started getting feedback from this 528, which is called, interestingly enough, I named it transformation, because that's exactly what you're going through. You're going into the goddess stage or the butterfly stage from a caterpillar. You're coming out the other side, a whole new beautiful creature. But I'm hearing you a little bit garbled. Let me see if I can hear you.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, it's going kind of in and out, but do you want me to finish the story?
Yeah, keep going.
I can hear you. All right, cool. So I started getting all these emails from women going, I don't like this one song transformation. I don't like the frequency. It makes me feel bitchy, and it makes me yell at my husband, and and I thought, wow, that's awful. That's not the goal here. And it took me days to try to figure out why. And then all of a sudden I realized I got a better question. So I sent back all the survey monkeys to the wonderful women that asked me the question. And I said, hey, listen, I want you to do this. I want you to cut back on listening to that one track. I want you to listen to it once or twice a week. That's it, until it doesn't have any emotional, you don't have any feeling, plus or minus about it. And then I want you to add it back slowly. And I want you to let me know what happens. So I did that for 3 weeks. I got flooded with email in the third week. Oh my God, I love you so much, Michael. No more night sweats. I'm not sticking my leg out of the covers at night because I'm overheating. No more hot flashes. No more irritability. And I thought, oh my God, this frequency, they were overstimming themselves. It's like with anything, atomic medicine, with integrative medicine, with allopathic medicine, with with vitamins and supplementations. Too much of any good thing can cause a rapid detox, Herxheimer response, can make you feel sicker than whatever was making you feel sick. So when I dialed them back on that frequency, it did exactly what it was supposed to. It helped them balance their hormones. It helped them sleep through the night. So that's my funny story about the frequency that almost got me in trouble with women. Well, I'm going to keep rolling because I know that you guys are still on, and so we're going to have some fun. I'm going to read you a couple testimonials about this wonderful little device. And I think you're really going to love it. It's called Wholetones to Sleep for a reason. And I have to tell you that if you are one of those people that's tried everything, you know, Ambien, Lunesta, you know, 10 milligram melatonin, you know, lavender oil, you've tried everything and you're still like looking at the ceiling at 3 a.m, I really think this will help you. And here's what some people have said about it that I think is great. I was an insomniac. After using Wholetones for sleeping, I can say that I am no longer an insomniac. I sleep all night long, sometimes over 9 hours. I feel so rested. Linda Cook. It really helped me, Michael. I was able to wean off my sleep prescriptions. Wanda Dermott. I've been having great sleep ever since I got it. I fall asleep very quickly. I seem more calm during the day. That was from Mary Knight. Here's another one from another one of our Wholetonians. I've suffered from chronic insomnia for 9 or 10 years. 3 to 4 hours a night of fitful sleep. The first night of uninterrupted sleep in almost a decade. Oh my gosh, last night I felt like I slept deeply for the first time in 9 or 10 years. That was Pat Hickey. And so I just wanted to say that it's really a big deal. We don't understand what it's like in our bodies when we don't sleep, like all of the biochemical changes and all of the hormonal changes that take place. And, you know, I don't mind telling you at all. I don't know you yet, but I feel close to you. I don't mind telling you, and I haven't shared this with anyone. I've gone through a very traumatic time in the last few months. I had don't ask, but I had a gunshot trauma ear injury in my left ear. And as a musician and a composer, you so desperately depend on your hearing. And it also throws off your equilibrium. And all of a sudden, I couldn't sleep. And I endured things that I never thought I would on this planet. I didn't ever know what a panic attack was. I've never been panicked about anything. And when you have a trauma in your life, regardless of what it is, sometimes it can cause a myriad of other problems. And that's when I was the most thankful that I was able to create this little device, this little miracle, Wholetones to Sleep, for the simple reason that I've had to depend on it. I mean, it's always on in the house, but now I had to depend on it because I literally could not sleep because of that injury. So, you know, maybe there's people out there listening and you're dealing with, you know, things that are above and beyond menopause. Maybe you've had an injury or a traumatic experience with losing a loved one. And we all know how that affects people. And so, again, that's why I created Wholetones to Sleep, is to help people that are really, really struggling. Are you there?
I am there.
Hey!
Can you hear me?
Yay! Yeah.
For the moment, I love this story. Tell people where they can get Wholetones. I share you with my community because, number one, I use it myself. I believe I actually have two. I have one in my travel bag and one at my in my bathroom, so I hear the sounds as they come through my bathroom into my bedroom. So just as a rule, keeping electronics out of my room. But it's perfect, and I love it, and it's so powerful. It's a powerful little speaker too that you can Bluetooth to as well. But just the fact that I could just turn it on, play, and have that music just play in the background as I do my nighttime ritual, it's wonderful. And that's why I wanted to share you. Tell people where to get it. And I put a link in the notes, you guys. So if you're in YouTube or if you're in Facebook, go to the top of this video and you'll see the link. It's wholetones.com/Quebeca. And that will take you to his promotion for our group.
Yeah, that's so I was going to say the same thing. I was going to tell him I didn't want to send them somewhere else. So can you tell, because I don't have that URL, so do you want to tell them again so they?
Yeah, I put it here in the notes, and let me just make sure. Yep, wholetones.com. So WHOLE tones.com /Cabeca, CABECA. So, and that also you go through your story and then just the ancient sounds, like biblically,
Mm-hmm.
the instruments that were played at a certain frequency. So touch on that before we
Sure.
close.
Absolutely. That was one of the most exciting takeaways, I think, of all in the story was when I went to Israel. I went there to proofread a book from a very well-known minister, and we ended up going into a coffee house where I met a man that was a musician in a coffee house. It was very random and beautiful, but long story short, at the end of the day, he came to the table, asked me if I was a believer, and told me that he had been woken up in the morning and was told by God to give someone his life's work. Well, I asked him what his life's work was, and he said, I've decoded the Psalms of King David from the Bible into music. And I said, what's your name? And he said, David. And my face got cold and my hair stood up, and I thought, I came to Israel, and this is why I must really be here. And he did give me this music. And again, as I shared earlier, just having the music didn't help until I knew what the right frequency to tune that music to was. But as Dr. Cabeca eloquently said, one of the problems that we're having today is that everything is supposed to be called progressive and everything's new. But you know what? We didn't get here from what's new. We came here from what's ancient. And if you really go back, you'll find out there's an ancient way. Pythagoras, one of my favorite people ever, who everyone thought was just the ultimate master mathematician and the inventor of geometry. But first and foremost in his passion was he was a musician. A lot of people don't know that. And he created his own healing musical instrument that vibrated. This is Pythagoras. This is the guy that trained Plato. We're talking ancient here. And he had this device that was 6 feet long with a pillow pad top. And on the bottom, it was like a harp with drone strings tuned to the skein of Pythagoras, which is combinations of 3, 6, and 9. And then as we know from our physics background and what Nikola Tesla says is the biggest thing. He said, if you understood the magnificence of the 3, the 6, and the 9, you would understand the construct of the universe. Pythagoras understood he understood the construct of the universe, and consequently, he understood the construct of the human body. And he said that he would do what he called soul adjustments, which is what? Thought, will, and emotions. It's what's out of sorts with us no matter what, but especially when we're going through times of stress and stress or social upheaval or menopause. And what he would do is get his disciples to lay on the top of this couch, and he would play the strings, the drone strings that vibrated the whole table for about 15 minutes. And he said they would get up, go to bed, and wake up in the morning completely together. And he said body, soul, and spirit. And these are people that are some of the most famous people that we've ever heard of, one of which was Plato. Some of the great thinkers first spent their time with a man with Pythagoras that basically did what I'm doing with this by laying them on a table and playing those drone frequencies underneath them until their body responded. It's amazing how so many times, you said something earlier that's so important. We always say, wow, I can't sleep, but we did sleep. Do you remember when it was? It was when you were a baby. And one of the reasons why I slept is I still remember, and I'm trying not to be emotional, but I remember my mother holding me to her chest, and I remember her singing lullabies over me and feeling her body vibrate when she would sing those songs. And so when I came up with this Wholetones to Sleep music and device, that was the impetus behind it, is getting people back to the place where they're feeling like they're held by their mother and sung over all night long. And it's a safe and secure place. And so it's my prayer today, too, that you'll take advantage of it, because there's a million different things. I think there must be 1,000 sleep supplements, and I've tried some and they didn't do anything. I've tried just about everything. And PubMed now, the government is agreeing with me and saying, this is the sleep solution. So Dr. Cabeca has made it very affordable, and I'm doing my best to make sure that I tell you that if there's one thing that you get this year that's going to have a quantum change in your life, it'll be a great night of sleep.
Oh, you're so right. That is so true. Well said. And again, I encourage it. These are one of those things, those tools in your toolbox that I use. And my audience knows if I don't bring people on my group, especially live, if I 100% believe in this product. So, and I use it. And I think this is one of those things that it's a nice addition. And it's helped me. It has definitely helped me. So I appreciate it very much. I appreciate your work and your journey and your science. Getting published in PubMed, getting a scientific study is one of the hardest things that we do to
And the
accomplish,
most
to really
expensive.
verify our dreams. And the most expensive, and we don't have to do it because we know it works, but that you went to that extra step, it's really powerful. I know my community will appreciate it too. And yeah, so thanks so much, Michael. So much interesting stuff, and you guarantee it. So
Oh yeah,
I love that
we do.
about your your brand and your style. So what a great time. Like, it's so awesome to be here with you now. How much playing time is in that?
All night. It's looped. So after the 3 hours of playing time, it starts again from the first track and just seamlessly keeps going all night long. So it's not going to wake you up, or there's not going to be a click, and then,
Yeah.
and also,
I've never listened to the whole thing, that's for sure.
you know what? I was going to say one of the songs on there, it's called Angels All Around Us. It's been nicknamed the song that no one's ever heard the end of. Most people don't even make it to the first part of that song, which is so funny.
So true, so true. Cheryl said, very interesting. I first heard about this when attending IIN. I wish I weren't deaf, hearing impaired, so I could use this to fall asleep. Hey, that's a great point, because
Wait,
you don't have to have hearing. It's
wait.
vibration.
Here,
Cheryl, you can
okay.
use this, darling.
Tell her, Cheryl, if you can see me or hear me. One of our main advocates is in St. Paul, Minnesota. Her name is Stephanie Rude, and she started the whole deaf community for Wholetones because she came to a live concert where I played, and she started weeping uncontrollably. And she said, oh my God, I know what it's all about. I never knew what music was. You can receive this in your cells. You don't have to hear it. I mean, I would say that at the very most, the whole auditory nerve stimulation might be 10%. The 90% that you receive is from the vibration that actually enters your physical body. So
Yes,
it does work.
and we know medicinal. I mean, there's science behind medicinal healing properties of sound. Sound is vibration. In the Bible, it says, the word, right? We be conscious of our word. Word is vibration, and that's how we communicate. And I will tell you, one of the most profound experiences in my travels was being in New Zealand, listening to the New Zealand String Symphony and being brought to tears. Like, I was uncontrollably sobbing, and it wasn't like it was just string instruments, right? It was that frequency somehow helped me in a very cathartic way.
You know what happens a lot of times? And this is, again, I'm going to tell you guys something I don't tell many people. I like your audience. I feel comfortable here. Wholetones, the reason it's different, you need to know. The reason it's different is because most time when people use frequency, they use a digital device called a frequency generator. I created my frequencies two ways. Left side, the Nashville String Symphony. It's all wood. It's all real people playing, and they're playing those drones. On the other side, you don't know this, but you're gonna like this one. I got an eyedropper and some real lead crystal glasses. Yep, I did the old, party trick, and I rang out each frequency and recorded each frequency at its proper tuning, and then added that to the strings from the Nashville Strings, and that's that gorgeous frequency bed that you hear under all the music that's really making the difference.
How fascinating. I did not know that. How cool to have those overlays. Wow.
Yeah.
Very
really
cool. And that
neat.
just like that glass tuning, everyone, for an oxytocin moment, watch Miss Congeniality with Sandra Bullock, and she does that in her talent. So funny. Well, thank you, Michael, and show the Wholetones again, and just everyone, listen, it's got my backing and Michael's guarantee on it also, and this is one of those non-medicinal things we can do to support us. And when we're going keto green, when we're detoxing, our sleep can get disrupted. We need sleep now more than ever. Your children need sleep. Our adolescents need sleep. So adding this into your home, into your evening ritual, I mean, I just think this is one of those, those harmless additions and helpful, very helpful additions. So I think that's powerful work, and that very intuitive work. And thank God for you, Michael. Really.
Thank God for you. I mean, I'm so honored to be on the show with y'all, and it's like my favorite demographic in the whole world. So.
Well, awesome. Well, we love you, and thanks everyone for listening. Sue says thank you for telling us. Wonderful tool. Carol says thank you. So you are appreciated. And guys, everyone listening, just go ahead and share this message. Share the link. Check out Wholetones and check out the work. He has listening samples on there so you can listen to it. And it's like, again, think of it in the background. And as you listen, just relax and breathe and see what it feels like and see how that shifts you. It's so powerful. It really is. It's that, nice addition.
Yeah. You're awesome.
All right. Wholetones.com/Quebeca to get the offer from Michael's group and for our group. And Michael, I appreciate you. Any last words of wisdom for our audience?
Yeah, I was just going to tell them also that I created my own customer support team, and they're all women that have children that couldn't get a job anywhere else. And so when you call our customer support, you're talking to my friends. You're talking to people. So if you have any questions, you can also contact our customer support people. But like I said, people, nice. If they don't like this, I'll be shocked. But if you don't have to worry about anything. You can try it and just enjoy it. But the most important thing, I think, is that we need all the help we can get right now. I think Wholetones was created for such a time as this. I've never seen anything like what we're all going through. I feel like I went to Walmart today. I felt like I was on another planet. It's bothering everyone. We're all doing really well with it, I think, considering. But the bottom line is sleep right now it's the panacea. It's what we really, really need.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Yeah, thank you, Michael, and thank everyone for showing up. Be sure to like and share, and let me know. I want your feedback. Just go ahead and add additional questions or comments below this, and I'll be checking in. So thank you, Michael, for being here today, and thanks to all our community.
Enjoy the rodeo.
Bye, guys.